Again, Jules fans, welcome back to Jules in the Blood TV. It is another Jules in the Blood Chats 2, and I'm happy to announce that this morning, as you can see on the screen, I am joined by 1990s midfielder Neil Smith, current Bromley manager. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good, thank you. Very, very well at the moment.
Enjoying the sunshine, I can see.
Very, very old, yeah. Enjoying the sun, like I always have.
Yeah, you've got to make the most of, what we can do at the moment, haven't we? Because it's a weird world we live in at the moment.
No, it's frightening at the moment. You go outside and it's just like a ghost town.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Really, really, really strange times. But obviously having to make sure that we do our best to live by the rules of it.
That's it. How the boys coping at Bromley, obviously, with all the self-isolation and the individual training,
it's difficult. I keep in touch with them every day in respect of, I phone them up, make sure they're just ticking over because, at the moment they're having to do their own thing. I think we now know that the league's going to finish, which is a very difficult circumstance for the boys because although we hadn't had a great couple of months, we still thought we had a chance of getting in the playoffs. But, we regroup. Now we know what's going to happen and go again for next season.
I suppose that's the thing. As much as I think whichever decision gets made with all the leagues, Premier League, the Football League, National League, even below that, we've seen all the stuff on social media. I think the main thing is that people just need to know what's going to happen, don't they, rather than is it going to be this, is it going to be that? It's going to be frustrating and you're going to annoy a certain amount of teams.
Yeah, you can't keep everybody happy. We know that. And I think a decision needed to be made sooner rather than later than just dragging it out. I've got players out of contract, not knowing about their futures, let alone this month or next month, what's going to happen within football. So now we know that the league will be ended. How they do it with the promotions and everything else will be sorted out in due course. But you can have conversations with people now and just tell them where they stand and where they are and be truthful to them.
That's it, yeah, because obviously, like you say, the contracts is probably one of the most complicating factors of all of it, isn't it? Because obviously with Gilles, we still don't know as well, and we'll have players that are out of contract, players that loan deals have expired. Are they going to go back to their parent clubs, or are we going to have to play? And Gilles have got a tiny squad at the moment. We could end up starting in June and only have 13 players.
Well, we were the same. We had 16 players, and 3 of those were keepers. So it was down to its bare bones right at the end. But I started getting players back just at the right time, and the unfortunate virus sort of come and hit us. But at the end of the day, football comes secondary to lives and livelihood of family, friends, and the ordinary person walking down the street. And so we understand that football. We hope will always be there, but you hope your family and friends are so more important. You hope they're there as well.
Exactly that, yeah. And this has become a massive leveller for all of us, isn't it? In turn, we're all exactly the same, regardless of what we do. Anyway, brief little chat about Bromley and yourself and how you're coping, which is great. But the main purpose is obviously to talk about your time in Kent at Priestfield. So we'll go all the way back to the beginning to start with.
Wow, when I was a boy.
When you was a boy.
Yeah, when I was a boy. Brilliant times.
Yeah, obviously you started at Tottenham, and although it never worked out for you, unfortunately, I'd imagine it must have been incredible to be there as a schoolboy or a trainee or an apprentice as it was back then, learning from. Because I'd imagine you'd have been around the time like Linekers and the Gazzers were there.
That's right. Yeah. So I was there from 12 years old. I did all my School of Excellence, worked my way up to the junior football, and then went into obviously being an apprentice. And as you say, I was Gary Lineker's boot boy. I've cleaned his boots every day, cleaned them. Obviously, Gazza then come in. You've only got to listen to some of the stories, and I saw most of them. And a hell of a character, and that was, they were great times. Terry Venables, obviously being the manager.
So who's the skipper? Mabbott would have been.
Gary Mabbott was the manager, yeah. And literally, as soon as I signed my first pro contract, he went, right, with your money, put most of it in your pension, give some of it to your mum, and it was all done. It was before you even thought about getting a car. It was all about, make sure you make this money safe, put it in the pension, put your savings. Make sure your mum gets her expenses and can buy the food. I had a little Mini. I had a £300 Mini driving up into Tottenham as a pro, driving to Tottenham because, to be fair to Gary Mabbott, it was the right decision. Put your money for later on. You don't realise it once it's gone. But yeah, you had players there. You had your Paul Stewarts, your Gary Linekers, your Paul Walshes, Naeem. I was there with Clive Allen, Nico Klassen. Ray Clements, Darren Goff,
Richard Goff.
Yeah, there were some fantastic players there. Chrissy Houghton, Terry Fennick. Could go through them all. And then obviously I was there. I signed me pro.
Justin.
just in Edinburgh,
Yeah, spoke to Charlie a couple of nights ago for the
Fine.
channel. We spoke to Charlie. He obviously speaks really highly of his old man.
Yeah, no, and rightly so. He was a character, and we weren't. He was a little bit older than me, but we weren't far away in age groups.
Yeah.
I went to his 21st and everything. He's good mates with Brian Statham, so it was a good gang of boys there.
He played for Gills for a little while, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there were good characters there at the time, and it was
the red card, if I remember rightly, Brian.
He loved the tackle. He loved the scissor. He'll go in with a right leg, and then all of a sudden the left one that you didn't anticipate caught you. But I think at the time being at Gillingham, it was that fitted in quite well. We were quite.
It did. I just remember him getting more red cards than actually playing fixtures. I think. But he was a good defender. He played either side as well, I think.
He was strong to play centre half, very, very strong. So yeah, the Tottenham days were amazing. And I signed my first pro contract in 1990, and they obviously won the FA Cup in 91. And the way it come about with signing with Gillingham, I was 18, and I was captain of the reserves and everything else, and it was one of those where I just looked at people in front of me, and I could have stayed there. Ray Clements didn't want me to go. I was meant to go to Southend, who were in Division 2 at the time, with Dave Webb, and I had a massive car crash. And sort of knocked me sideways for a couple of months. And I just looked at the players in front of me. Was I ever going to get in front of Naeem? He wasn't even in the side at the time. John Moncur was playing in the reserves. Peter Garland, some fantastic players without the likes of Paul Allen and everything else. And
Monks went and played in the Premier League as well. So if that's the people that are not getting in the side,
and that was it. And I was captain of these. I was getting in the reserves. I just couldn't see myself getting in the first team. And I thought, I just want to play football. I want to play football in front of a crowd where 3 points mean anything. I really, really didn't mind. And there was always a connection between Tottenham and Gillingham. I think Keith Burton-Shaw and obviously
of course,
had been down there. And someone said, "Oh, do you want to go and play for Gillingham?" Yeah, I hadn't looked any further, and that was on the Thursday, and I signed on the Friday. Damien Richardson picked me up from the train station. Didn't know really anything about it. Turned up, with the likes of Alan Walker, Paul Clark. Who was it? Steve Lovell. And I used to watch Steve Lovell.
Yeah, Loves was there then, yeah.
When I used to go and watch Millwall. I remember jogging round, and he'd come over and he went, "Oh, I'm Steve Lovell." I went, "I know, I used to watch you when I was at school at Millwall." He went, "Oh, don't tell the players that." It was one of them ones where you just walked into, Tim O'Shea, who I'd been at Tottenham with as well, Tosh. So I was walking into a place where, I don't know, they just made you feel so welcome. And I just love playing on a Saturday afternoon, 3:00.
Like it means something. There's 3 points at stake rather than reserves football and stuff like that's not quite the same, is it?
No. We were getting. You'd play at Highbury and you'd play at all the top clubs at the time, and the reserves were good, strong reserves. I remember playing in a game against Arsenal where I'm playing against Kevin Campbell, David Rocastle, Colin Pates, Andy Linnigan. Alongside me was Terry Fenner, Chrissy Houghton on the left side. So you were learning while you were playing, but there's nothing like playing where 3 points actually does mean something. There's points to be had. There's league tables to move up and down. There's supporters, giving you banter, giving you grief, but then ultimately supporting you and wanting to do well.
Exactly. You speak about obviously 3 points being at stake. Unfortunately, you joined in 91, and let's be honest, Gills weren't in a great state at the time, on and off the pitch for your first probably 3 or 4 years.
No, they were very difficult times, but I think it was an education as well, though.
I was going to say, it probably sort of made you, it was either sink or swim, I'd imagine, and you probably paddled like mad, didn't you?
Yeah, no. You had to. You know, the people were going nuts. I'd come from a place like Tottenham where everything was done for you, and there was this, that, and the other. And then, no disrespect, you go to Gillingham, and you are fighting for your lives, and the club's fighting for its own life.
Yeah.
It really was. Obviously, I went in with Damien. I think that year we got through. The next year, I thought you brought in Lawrence Osborne, you brought in Gary Breen, your Liberd Henrys, bit of youth to try and really kick on, and it didn't work. And that was a bit of a struggle the whole of that season.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that 92-93 season because I've been watching. Obviously, there's nothing else to do at the moment. I've been sat there and watching all the old YouTube videos of all the old seasons, and there's a clip from the local news at the start of that 92-93 season. It says about Breen, Liberd Henry, and all that coming in. It says, and Gills were confident of making a playoff push. And then
we played Man United in the pre-season friendly that season for Buster. I think Steve Bruce brought a decent team down, Mike Phelan, people like that, and we beat them. And I think that was the worst thing that happened because everyone then thought, right,
The expectations went right up here. Yeah,
absolutely. And don't get me wrong, they were good players, but it was a young team. It was a young team. I think Damien was just trying to change it a little bit. The whole ethos. I think we had quite a few senior players up until then, but then you had your Peter Beadles, your Andy Arnott's, your Chippies, Richard Carpenter's, and I think you went, Elliot Martin, and I think we were probably a bit too young, and I think it sort of you needed that experience along the core.
Just a little bit to help the youngsters out. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. That was probably my first pre-season starting into a proper league as well. So it was really tough. You were getting to know players as well. And I think it all accumulated a little bit too quick and a little bit too early for Dame to sort of carry on with those sort of boys.
Yeah, because he left, didn't he,
That's
season,
right.
midway through that season. And was it the end of the campaign? I can't...
as nearer to the end as you can.
And then Glenn Roeder was in charge for 92, 93, that one where it came down to the Halifax game. And
yeah, so again, another tough season. Glenn Roeder come in, and I loved Glenn. I got on really well with Glenn Roeder. I think he made me captain in a couple of the games as well. Paul Clark was injured. So, I was 21, 22.
So that must be massive then, because you was probably, you go 22 years old still. So to be made captain must have been massive.
Yeah, it was an honour. I think, as I said, I said to him, I remember him sitting down in the office. He went, "I'm going to make you captain Tuesday night." Forget who it was against. And I went, "Yeah." He went, "Are you big enough for it?" I went, "Yeah, lovely." I said, I was captain of Tottenham Reserves with some big players, and we got a decent result. We got a decent result, and all that way, I had a lot of respect for Glenn, and again, it was always up and down. I don't think he could really change what we had as a squad to make it any better. And it was just to get through to the end of the season. Obviously, culminating in the Halifax game, the last game of the season, banged out, stadium with the pressure of. I don't think it was just a case if you lost, we're going down the division. I think if we lost, there would be no Gillingham.
That's literally what I've written down, Smudge. I've got. Where is it? We were potentially one game from not just relegation, but that was it. Done and dusted.
Yeah, it was. It got to that stage, and the support and the players could sense it. There were lots of rumours going around, and you try and take away from that. As I say, I'm 22 years old in this situation, and you're thinking, bloody hell, this could be the end of a club. End of a club.
Could end up being the biggest game of your career at 22 years old, regardless of whatever you did after that. Yeah,
totally. In respect of, it wasn't just a game that you won and you won something. It was a game where you're trying to keep the club alive.
Saving a whole football club.
Yeah. It's not just about staying up. It's about keeping the club going. So the pressure of that as well. It just accumulated. But I don't know. In the game, I think they had a few chances. I think they put us under pressure, but we felt confident we could do it. And then Tony Eales, and what character he was, Ealesy, popped up with his left foot and just put it in the top corner, and it just
screamed on it. Yeah.
It was a hell of a game. Have you still got me?
I can still hear you, but your picture's gone. But carry on.
Oh, hold on. There we go. It was a hell of a game. The pressure, you could sense the crowd and supporters, and then obviously Paul Baker then getting, the second goal, and that was it. You just felt the elation, you felt everything come through, and a job well done in the end.
Yeah, it was. It was probably our best performance of the season. When we really needed it.
Under so much pressure, exactly, when you need it. And honestly, I had all my family there, my brothers, my mates, and I think my brother was. I remember him telling me, saying we're sitting there, and you could just. There was a nervousness, and all of a sudden the stewards had sort of come 5 minutes before the end of the game and said, "Look, no one run on the pitch." And my brother, the first thing he said, he went, "I'm going to be the first one on the pitch." And
you're not going to stop it, are you?
You're not stopping it.
You're not stopping that.
And he come on, and I have somewhere in me, I don't know, cupboard somewhere, I've got a picture of me and my brother. First picture, he's on the pitch, giving us a cuddle, and then the second one, I think I'm on someone's shoulders, and it was like we'd won. It was like you'd won the league.
But probably more in that sense, like you said, because it kept Gillingham Football Club going.
Yeah, you saved the club. It wasn't about anything else. It wasn't about your own personal career. It wasn't about anything other than saving the club. We stayed up, but you saved the club. That was the biggest and foresight of everything that went ahead.
Of course, yeah. So how disappointed was you then? Because obviously one of my questions was about Glenn Roeder, because I did a bit of research, and on the face of it, his win ratio wasn't actually great at Gills. I think he won 13 of 51.
But that's what I'm saying.
At the time then, you only played 42 league games, didn't we? So
yeah.
that magic 50 mark that we talk about now was lower, and obviously we stayed up with 40 points. But
a hell of a lot lower.
At the end of the day, he's done his job, didn't he?
Yeah, listen, I think his job was keep us up. And I think he come in, and that's what I'm saying, I don't think he changed the players much. I think he just used what he had and tried to get the best out of them till the end of the season. So the following season, because I'd got on well with Glenn, I was like, I can't wait for next season. He'd made me captain. He'd obviously thought highly of me, blah, blah, blah. And we did pre-season. He started pre-season with us. And the first couple of days, he was running us. It was the hardest. And I was like, he's changed. There was something seriously wrong. And he was really battering us. And literally, he was in on the Tuesday, and then by the Wednesday, he was the Watford manager.
Went to Watford, didn't he? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, he'd gone with no goodbye. See you later. I'm going to Watford. It was the worst, as in the hardest training session I'd ever done on the Tuesday, and I think he'd done it on purpose
because he knew he wouldn't see you again.
Yeah.
He just stitched you up.
I seriously think he did, and literally by the Wednesday, obviously, Mike Flanagan had then been given the job and to take us on, and it sort of changed the atmosphere a little bit, because I think everyone had sort of backed on Glenn. Yeah, we're going to do well, an experienced guy like Glenn coming in, as in the level we played at, and then literally the next day he wasn't there, and you got a new manager
again,
and it was totally changed.
So then we struggled for a couple of seasons again, didn't we? After that, but let's fast forward now to the summer of '95. Because we don't want to talk about you struggling all the time with us. Paul Scally comes in, buys the club.
Yeah.
Points Tony Pulis. How big a surprise, Smudge, was that promotion push in that very first campaign? Because obviously, again, it was a lot of change with loads of player turnover. Did you envisage a promotion charge?
I didn't envisage a promotion charge, and I didn't envisage me being there, if I've got to be brutally honest. Paul Scally had come to the Barnet game, last game of the season before, and I'd sort of met him, and we'd spoken afterwards, and he was like, I'm going to take it over, we're going to do this. Got on really well with him, had a couple of beers, end of the season, blah, blah, blah. And during the close season, I'd heard Tony Pulis is coming in to take over, and he's not going to want you.
Right.
And that was at the time where it wasn't the Bosmans, so they held the registration until you found a club. So
of course, it would have been that year that it all changed, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It was only the year after that you're Bosman, you were free to go. So I was like, how can I go to a club if I know the manager? I hadn't spoken to Tony, by the way. And I was like, right. So you're doing what you're doing. So I thought, right, I'm going to go back, the fittest I've ever been. Because if he doesn't want me, I'm going to make sure whoever he brings in, I've heard he was going to bring in loads of names. I'm going to make it hard for him not to have me. But at the same time, I've got to cover me back. I'm going to speak to a couple of clubs. So literally, first day back in training, we'd gone. He does I think he still does it. He'd still do it now, Tony. And walked in. Right, boys, you're going for no balls, hard session. Boom, 30-minute run, 40-minute run, hour run. And he'd do it with you. So I thought, right, I've got to be at the front of it. And then we had a meeting, and he went, right, what are you thinking? And I went, well, yeah, I want to stay. He went, how do you think last season went? Blimey, the last 4 seasons. Very tough. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell myself here. We hadn't been successful. I went, no, but I think I can do it. And he went, well, where do you want to go then? I went, no, I don't want to go, but, he went, I'll help you. And seriously, all pre-season, up until before we started playing the game, I'm not wanted here. I'm not wanted here. And we played Dover away, pre-season game. He put the first 11 out, and that's when, so Dave Martin had turned up, Kevin Rattray had turned up, Ratcliffe, all the boys, Leo, all the lads.
Big Jim came in, didn't he, early doors?
Yeah, Jim Stannard, a lot. And it was like, wow, he definitely doesn't want me here. I'm not going to fit in. So we played Dover. He went, right, you're in the second team, putting the first 11 out. So I went, okay. So he went, go and sit in the stand. So I sat in the stand, very got on, but nothing like a manager and player should do.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the stand. I think someone got injured, and he's looking around on his subs bench, and he just looked at me in the stand. He went, get changed now. It was 15, 20 minutes to go. So I ran down, got changed, I ran on the pitch, 50-50 tackle. I won the tackle, set someone up, scored. We hadn't done well. We come in at half time. We went, right, this ain't good enough. If we're going to do anything this season, we need to have proper players who want to play with this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting there, all of a sudden he went, like him, and he pointed at me. And that's when my career changed under Tony Pulis.
One
and
tackle.
Then after, one tackle.
One tackle.
Yeah. So, I'm being serious when I say that. That my career at Gillingham, I was going. And then we started the season, and we got off to a fantastic start. Dave Martin was an inspirational captain. You had Jim Stannard, a fantastic keeper. I know he got the Mick take out of him for his size, but
superb. He's in my top two. He's in my top two.
Amazing shot stopper, one-on-ones, no one ever beat him. He was amazing. And I was looking at it thinking, hold up, something could happen. You had Leo Fortune West, who had come from the non-league and just had a hunger. All of a sudden, we brought in Dennis Bailey, and you're like, he was playing with QPR.
He scored a hat trick at Old Trafford.
I think he's the last player to score a hat trick at Old Trafford.
Yeah,
still stands. And it was like, wow, I want to be a part of this. And Tony had then all of a sudden changed his perception of me. I'd actually gone down the road of signing for Brentford, and it was going to a tribunal. So
yes, I did read about this, yeah. And then
so even though
Dave Webb?
Yeah, Dave Webb again.
Said he couldn't afford you.
Yeah. So so this is another story. So I'm playing at Gillingham, giving my everything. But we've gone so far down the road of this tribunal. I've then got to go to the tribunal. We played Barnet on the Tuesday night. We won 2-0. I've got man of the match. On the Wednesday, I'm at a meet Dave. No, on the Thursday, I'm at a meet Dave Webb at Toddington. We're going up to St Anne's up in Manchester, a bit further on Blackpool or something like that. Living St Anne's for the tribunal. Scally is flying up with Lindsay Parsons. I played for him Tuesday. So as we're driving up, and Dave Webb's going, we're going to build a team round you, la la la. He went, right, pulled up outside. He went, whatever I say, don't just ignore it. Just ignore what I say. Just sit there and nod your head. I went, right, okay. And I thought it was a bit weird. 3 hours I've been driving with him. He's been telling me how he's going to build a team around me. I'm going to be a captain of Brentford, la la la. And I've sat there. We sat in a room, and it's mad. You sit in a room. So I've got Dave Webb to my left. On another table, I've got Paul Scally and Lindsay Parsons. So, right, Gillingham, tell us all about Neil Smith. Right, he played on Tuesday. He was man of the match. Got the paper. I got 9 out of 10. You know,
tell you where this is going.
He's amazing. He's the best player at the club. You know, we can't deal without him. And I'm like that, and I'm going, brilliant. Thanks, Paul. You know, Lindsay Parsons really bigging me up. Then Dave Webb, Brentford. Well, he's only going to come in as a squad player. He's not going to be the starting
get the price down.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there listening to my apparently my old chairman and coach really bigging me up. I'm looking at my new manager, making me feel like I'm like
don't break me at all.
Bag of spuds. To which, all of a sudden, then you go out the room and you're drinking there, and I'm standing with Paul, and Paul Scally turned around and went, look, Smudge, he said, on the way home, he said, whatever the outcome, do you want me to fly you back? Because I flew up from Biggin Hill, blah, blah. I went, I better go back with Dave, you know, because I've given up with him. He went, yeah, no problem. Gone back in. I went, it's going to be a certain amount of money. So all the way up there, Dave Webb has not stopped talking to me about the, you know, blah, 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 all the way back, as quiet as a mouse. 3.5 hours just sitting there looking out at this road. I got the Toddington station, went to get out my car. I went, anyway, Dave, I'll see you tomorrow. He went, nah. I went, what do you mean, no? He went, can't afford you. I went, I'm being serious. I'm at Toddington Services, standing in the car park while he's in the car with the window wound down. He went, nah, I can't afford you. I went, so what do I do? He went, just go back to Gillingham. Drove off. Just drove off. I'm standing in the middle of the car park. I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go in tomorrow. To which I walked into the changing room. All the boys are laughing. He's forgot his boots and not knowing the story.
Yeah.
I went, no, I'm not going. I went, what? I went, no, I'm not going. I'm staying here. All of a sudden, Lindsay Parsons walked in. He went, Smudger, Tony wants to see you in his office now. And you know Tony anyway. He's a strong character and says what he says. You know what I mean? And he means it. And I walked in. He went, sit down, close the door. I sat down, closed the door. But just looking at him, he went, brilliant. Put his hand out. He went, put it there. This is like a new signing. You're playing tomorrow. Go and smash it. I'd run through a brick wall for the guy.
But he was buzzing, wasn't you?
I honestly, he could have made me train with the kids. He could have chucked me out. He could have done anything he wanted, but he brought me back in. From then onwards, I owe that guy my career from then on, because he could have just thrown me out with the trash,
Yeah.
really, for everything that had gone on. But he'd seen I'd committed myself all the way up to the Barnet game. You know, boom, coming on the Friday, you have to show balls to go into your changing room after you thought you were leaving on the Tuesday. And he come in, and for him to do that, that was me and him. I owe him my career from then onwards. Because after that, I'd run through a brick wall for him. I probably got sent off in times because it was like I was that committed to the guy. I was committed to him as much as I was to the club.
Well, talk not sendings off, but I remember a booking you got watching back through the old DVD of the promotion season. You got booked for standing up, didn't you, in one game?
Oh, literally. I remember most of them. I
remember you sliding in, you made the tackle, and then the geezer tried to run over you, and you just stood up to try and get the ball, and he fell over the top of you, and then the ref ran over and brandished the yellow card.
I swear, most refs had my name in their book and just ticked
before
it.
It even started.
It wasn't what's your name, it was just a tick. Yeah, got him. I got, honestly, under Tony Pulis, I got booked and sent off. I don't know how many times up before the FA, but I was that committed. And to be fair, it was one of them. It was times when you had to, what do you say? Get your retaliation in first.
Yeah.
Because there were people that were gunning for us. But that team, we were winning the games in the tunnel. When Dave Martin was leading us out, you had Dave Martin, you had Jim just behind him, you had Richard Green, you had Mark Harris, you had all these players.
Monsters, yeah. But Tony Butler come in as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I was one of the smallest players in the team. And I'm 5'8.5", 9, nearly 5'10". But I was watching them and I was going, we've won the game. Even before you went out, you looked across at the opposition and they feared you. So it was one of them. You had to put a marker down early on in the game because we're going to win this. And I think teams feared us from the first minute.
I've got that on here. I've got my notes. I've got team, no sexy football.
No.
But one of the most effective Gillingham sides I've watched live.
We worked on team shape, pattern of play every day. We didn't do any five-a-sides. There wasn't any of that. It was literally know your job, know your mate's job, know the guys up front's job. Dennis Bailey, Leo Fortune West, Kevin Rattray, Simon Ratcliffe. You knew every person's job apart as well as your own. And it was like a machine. It was like a machine. I agree. There wasn't no free-flowing football and people taking players. It was be solid at the back. You don't keep, 28 clean sheets in a season.
Without being solid, yeah. It was ridiculous.
Without being solid. And
didn't he beat Ray Clemence's record, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And it still stands to this day.
In a season, I think we'd gone 10. I think we've gone 20 odd games, and we'd only let in 7 goals or something.
Halfway through the season, the home record was a joke. I think we'd only conceded 2 up to about Christmas at the Priestfield.
At home, it was phenomenal. But you felt you were proud to come play in that defence. I was like a midfield player, stroke defender. I was one of them ones that if you needed a right back, I'd play right back.
Yeah.
If you needed in centre midfield. You play anywhere for Tony. But everybody defended from the front. But then, when you got the ball up the front and you had Leo, you had Mark O'Connor before he got injured, absolutely terrorising defenders. You had Dennis Bailey, as I say, you had goals in you. You might win 1-0 or 2-0 or 2-1, but very rarely was you going to get beat 2 or 3-0.
No.
So all of a sudden, you keep a clean sheet, you're going to win the game.
I think it was always giving yourselves a chance, weren't we?
Absolutely. He was phenomenal, Tony, and it was constantly working.
He was clever with the loan market, I think, that season as well, because this is obviously before transfer windows and stuff like that. Steve Castle come in, didn't he? Scored goal of the season. I think it was over Hereford.
But what a player to come in, Steve Castle. He's been playing with Birmingham.
Wasn't it?
As a midfield player, you'd heard about him, you knew about him, and that's what I'm saying. So you had Dennis Bailey up front. All of a sudden, right, we need a loan sign. You bring in Steve Castle. It was like phenomenal. Tony. Even today, without Tony and without Paul, Gillingham wouldn't be where they are. I think the only regret is they never stay together and they don't get on. They don't speak to each other. Because I know they do reunions now, but I think Tony helped set the club up to where it is in respect of stadium and everything else. When he come in, he turned that whole ethos around of being struggling, losing, just take it on the chin to no, we're winners now.
We're better than that, yeah.
The mindset changed instantly when he comes.
Well, you only have to look at how his career went after leaving Gills, didn't you? So
yeah. Listen, if you wanted someone to change it, and he wasn't going to be sexy football like you say, but if you wanted to stay in the Premiership, for instance, he was the man to do it.
Yeah.
He was the man to do it, and he was regimented in his way, but he was successful in that way as well.
That's it, yeah. It was like you say, it was effective, and it got you 3 points more often than not, didn't it? So
100%. But he got the best out of those players. He then changed it over time when he could bring in better players. When you bring in your Hess and Tyler and and people like that, all of a sudden you can play some of the football you want to play. But at the time when he took over with the team he had, he got every ounce of the best out of them every week, and that's good management.
Yeah, because that season after, if we move on to 96, 97, obviously we jumped up a division. You just mentioned a couple of them. Hesse came in. I think Adi Akinbaye came in. Iffy came in. I think Steve Butler had joined at the end of the promotion season, hadn't he?
That's right. Yeah. So you had Iffy and Nora up front. You had Adi Akinbaye. You couldn't have ever. They used to beat teams up on their own.
Yeah.
Let alone bring in Hesse, who was just a driving force. He then changed formations. He went 3 at the back. I was wing back. And it was solid. David Putnam. You had that little bit of flair if you needed it, and he just adapted it to the next season. Get a couple of better players in with the base of.
Sorry, Neil, your sound's gone a little bit there.
Sorry, he then changed it with the better, same different formation, but you had the foundation of a strong back four. Matt Bryant come in. You had Harris,
City,
you had Richard Green, and the 3 at the back. I was a wing back, and it just kept evolving over the time. And even then, you felt confident you could go in and beat teams, and they were big teams in that division in the end.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I think there was certainly back then there was probably a bigger jump from the basement division into the next one up rather than now.
100%.
Whereas now you almost say that like the National League's effectively is a professional league now.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm playing in that sort of situation, and I'm being in the National League. I think we're as good as League Two and as good as some of the teams in League One.
Yeah, totally agree.
Whereas before, the jump was massive. Millwall had come down from the Championship, I think, so they were in now League One, or we're class as League One now. We'd gone up, and you're playing in these stadiums with these players, and they were huge.
And you personally, obviously, you had a good season because you, like mentioned already, we jumped up a division. You'd nearly left the summer before you thought. I suppose you was maybe thinking again. Well, probably not so much now, because obviously of your relationship with Tony. But you played 50 games that season. We stayed up quite comfortably in the end, didn't we? I think after Addy came in.
That's right. Yeah. No, we it was always let's have a look, consolidate. See how good we were. Tony, I'd spoken to Tony at the end of the season where we got promotion. And I said, Tony, I want to sign. He went, I want you to sign. I want you to get the 2-year deal done. Boom. Tony was amazing, and we got it. So all of a sudden, I had a manager that had trust in me. I had trust in the manager. The club was turning a massive, massive corner in respect of where it wanted to go and what it wanted to achieve. Yeah. And it was a club that you wanted to be at. As you say, when I first come down, you're looking around the corrugated iron, stadium. All of a sudden, Scully come out with these plans of where we wanted to go, and it was all dream world. We're going to be down by, the river. We're going to build a stadium. We want a 25,000 all-seater stadium. And you, why would you not trust him? He come in and said, "I'm going to turn this pub around." He did. All of a sudden, trusting the manager and the chairman was immense. And you're bringing in these players. You just thought, I want to be a part of this. I want to keep it going.
Yeah, I think as a fan, obviously from 95 to sort of 2000. 2003 probably, it was just unbelievable what a ride into the Championship as it is now. And then obviously after that we slipped out of the Championship, and then League Two we went back down to. But yeah, that 8 years were just an absolute joke.
It was just constantly success. But I think the foundation was built in the promotion year with Dave Martin wasn't going to ever be there for over a course of time. It was do the job now.
Yeah, for the here and now. Yeah,
and then your Hess come in to take his role over, and he had 3 or 4 years in him, and I think that's where it changed. It was like, right, how can I stop the rot? How can we turn this around? Do it next season, consolidate. The season after that, let's get better. And it was just a constant evolving of a club and a team.
Yeah, you can see that in all the positions, can't you? Like you say, we had Big Fat Jim for a couple of years, and then Vinny came in.
Vince Bartram, he come in for me just as I was.
You was just going out, I think. Yeah,
just going. Yeah, I was just going.
But even like you say, the centre halves, like Matty Bryant came in, and after that, Ash came in, and and AD,
Barry Ashby, yeah, Guy Butters,
and all them, yeah.
I was with Guy at Tottenham, and you'd see what he was as a player.
Yeah.
He was immense.
Quality at Portsmouth as well, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, the players that you were bringing in, before that, it was your Darren Freemans, it was your Paul Watsons, it was Richard Carpenters, it was myself, all young kids, Elliot Martins, all young kids that have. But now, all of a sudden, you're bringing established players to learn from and grow with.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, we've spoken about that season as a whole, that 96-97, but we've got to talk about one particular night. You was wearing the red version of this.
I've got it upstairs.
Highfield Road.
Yeah, it was one of those nights. So you're going. We'd obviously drawn at home.
Yeah.
So it was a replay. You're going to Highfield. You're going to Coventry. They're in the top division, Premiership. Gordon Strachan's just taken over as the manager. You're playing against Gary McAllister. They had, Parker. They had Richardson.
John Solarco was in the side.
John Solarco. I was having to mark John Solarco. They were players. They were good players, and we were going there. But honestly, I said it in the interview afterwards. We were going there confident we could win.
Yeah.
Going there confident. And my brother was driving up. I had a gang of me mates and my brothers were driving up, and I actually said, I feel like scoring today. Then what? At first, I went, I don't know. I said, but I don't know, because we've been working on me getting forward. Obviously, the best way to defend against John is actually attack, so he has to defend against you.
You don't like going back the other way, yeah.
No, it doesn't. So you just felt never ever dreaming that you get to that chance and you score the goal, you win. You've got all the supporters down that side as you're running back. That was my first thought to go over.
Get over to us, yeah.
We'd sold out the away end. It was like the cup final. It was everything you dream of as a boy. Scoring the winner. FA Cup final, of course, or playoff final. Didn't make it, but that was as good as for me.
That's it. That's your Wembley moment, isn't it? That's it. Yeah.
Oh, that's my story. I live on for the rest of my life. You come. I get up the next morning. My brother's gone, because I lived with my brother at the time. He's gone down the shops. He's bought every paper. He put, it was one of them ones. You're on the
definitely,
back. Yeah. And I can't think the last time, probably Gillingham versus Everton. The last time Gillingham were on the back page of national papers. When Cascarino
missed the 1-on-1 with Southall. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of them where, I dine out on it, and I'm so proud of that moment.
You should be. What was that moment like? So you see that ball gets, because I think it breaks, and there's like a block tackle in it, and it falls towards the edge of the box, and then all of a sudden the camera shot sees you running onto it. What was your fault when you're running onto it?
My fault is...
Did it all go like slow motion, almost like out of body, or?
There's no one near me. I'm the right back or right wing back. I'm in the 18-yard box. I'm only about 10 yards out.
And I've got an open goal, pretty much.
And I've got an open goal. and I do. I just pass it in. Normally if someone's coming across you try and smash it on. There was no one. It was like the moment. It was like a moment that had been set in stone. This is what's going to happen. Because I think we'd been under the attack at one end, and we'd broken down the left-hand side. Craig Armstrong again. Got him from Forest. He'd played that ball down the line. I think Steve Butler might have been on it, and he passed it across. And it was like, oh my God. Richard Shaw got in with Oggy, and it was there. It was the golden moment. It was the moment you live for as a child.
So you're just thinking, just for Christ's sake, hit the target. Make sure you hit the target.
Listen, I'm not the best finisher. I think we know that by goals per game.
Yeah, I've looked at your goals scored.
I think I remember me bookings and me sending off more than I do me goals. But
you got a few of them.
I got too many of them. It was one of them where it was, this is your moment, and I slide it in, and even now it sort of hits home. Jimmy Greaves was the commentator, he said, you think if the finisher of his caliber says what a finish, I'll take that all day long. That's some compliment. It's an open goal, but I'll take that compliment from
Jimmy Greaves. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was, Jim had been pulling saves off left, right, and centre in goal. I think he come off with man of the match. I've got a picture upstairs, me, Jim, and Hess, and that just epitomises that team at that time. Everybody was in it together. There were no superstars, and I think that's what Tony brought to that club. No superstars were in it together, and then obviously afterwards. It was like we won, because I think we'd beaten Barnsley before that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it weren't just.
It was a great run. It was a great run of teams that we played. But yeah, no, I'll never forget that. that night, that goal, to the day I die. And as I say, I live on it. I live that story.
Even so you should as well.
Even
like
if
you
you hear
didn't
it
score
before,
many, so
I'm quite willing to tell you again.
you can tell me again if you want. It's like
No,
different languages.
Oh, it was amazing. But again, I think if you look at the actual highlights, Tony at the end of the game, he ain't running across the pitch. That's how professional he was. That's how
it was always about making sure we do our job now. Yeah.
Right, who's the next game? And you know, as I say, I think he was inspirational for me.
Quality. No, it's been a really good chat, Neil. I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, you left that summer briefly before I let you go and enjoy the sun. It's a weird one, really, because I suppose you left that summer, and then the season after we had a right go at the playoffs, then ended up at Wembley twice. But on the flip side, you went to Fulham and Reading after that, and you got promoted to both of them as well.
Again,
so you've done all right there.
Yeah, no, that season, I said to Tony at Christmas, Tony, I want to sign again. He went, look, I want you to sign, go and sort it out. And I've been knocking on Scally's door. It wasn't even about the money. It was just, I just want to sign. Like, I want to sign. Don't worry, we'll get it sorted. I was getting married that year. It was 97. I was getting married, and I was like, I haven't got a contract. This is at the end of the season. And all I kept getting was, don't worry, we'll sort it out. And I couldn't take that gamble. I'm just getting married. I'm moving into a new house. Didn't have a contract, and I kept on knocking on it. Honestly, Tony Pulis, you can ask him, have you sorted it? I went, no, he said he's going to wait. Look, just get it done, And literally, the phone call from Fulham, I'm out of the blue. It was on the Friday before I got married. I picked the phone up, and it was Alan Corbin. He went, what's happening with Jules? I went, look, I'm looking to sign. He went, have you signed then? I went, no. He went, well, we want to sign you. I went, look, I'm getting married tomorrow. I said, seriously, I'm going on the honeymoon Sunday morning.
Yeah.
He went, right. If you don't sort anything out, give me a call when you get back. I went, yeah, okay. Put the phone down. So in the end, I'm on the plane, going on my honeymoon, pick the paper up, and all the headlines was, Al Fayed on his way to Fulham. On his way to Fulham. I wasn't going there.
I was going to say, because this is about the time that he took over, wasn't it?
Yeah, no. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm out there. I phoned Mickey Adams, was the manager, ex-Gills, Mickey Adams. And he went, Smudge, you're going to sign for me? I went, well, look, I've got to speak to Gillingham first.
Yeah.
He went, well, I'm telling you now, you're going to sign for me. The plans we've got in place. I landed, literally, tried to phone Scally, couldn't. I went and met Fulham on Monday, agreed everything. Tony Pulis phoned me up and said, what have you done? Tony, for 6 months, I've been trying to sign for Gillingham. Nothing's been put in front of me.
Exactly, yeah, you've got to look after yourself, haven't you?
Yeah. I said, they've offered me a 3-year deal, within 6 months, 6 weeks, Al Fayed had taken over. 6 weeks after that, Kevin Keegan and Ray Wilkins come in.
I was going to say they turned up shortly after, and then the players they started bringing in were an absolute joke.
So I'd signed there.
Beardsley signed.
That's it, yeah. So I'd signed with Darren Freeman again, Richard Carpenter, Andy Arnott was there, Paul Watson, all ex-Gills boys.
Yeah.
Because of what Tony had done, as in, very, very tough and hard. And Mickey was exactly the same. So all of a sudden, Ray Wilkins coming in, Kevin Keegan coming in, Peter Beardsley signing, Paul Pescalino signing, Chris Coleman signing.
Did they get who's a Belgian lad from Newcastle? That's it, Philip Albert.
Philip Albert turned up. You're like, oh my!
It was like one of the most iconic goals in the Premier League. That bloke.
It was the maddest two. Yeah, exactly. He scored against Man
United when he chips Michael.
5-1. I've got a story on that. So we're watching. I'm looking at all these players going, I'm not going to be here long. I'm not going to be here long. If there's a different player running across the pitch every Friday afternoon, you'd be training, and someone would be running. And go, he signed another one, and Paul Trollope then turned up, and it was just Paul Bracewell. He played for Everton in 2 FA Cup finals. You're like, oh, who else is there? Come, Mike Taylor, Steve Finnan.
That's the keeper, the Irish keeper.
Yeah, Steve Finnan. He ended up winning the Champions League with Liverpool. Then you got Rufus Brevitt. You just got these names coming off, and I was like, I've just signed for a club, and I'm going to go. Kevin and Ray was amazing. God bless his soul.
Yeah, definitely.
He was like another Tony Pulis. He took me out. He went, I need you in my team. Don't worry about all these new players. I need you in my team. You're going to be all right, Lola. And I stayed in there. We just missed out on the playoffs that year, and then the second year was just dream world. It was like you win the championship. I think we won it in early March.
I was going to say it was early, wasn't it? Really early.
99 points we won it, and it was against Gillingham. But
I think they beat us 3-0.
Yeah,
I think Albert scored in that game.
That's when it was announced when we got promotion, and then we needed another 3 points, I think, to win the championship. We then won the championship, and we never won a game after that until the last game of the season to get 101 points. So that Philip Albert, we obviously you go away and you're on the boys' holiday and you're celebrating, and we found this Geordie pub. Yeah. Literally, the whole time we were in there, they just had a loop of his goal on the TVs in behind him. And every 5 minutes, go, what's this goal? And it was the same goal over and over again, repeated. And they were the maddest 2 years. But yeah, they were special. But then obviously going to Reading. Yep. I think Paul Bracewell took over. He wanted to change it again. Then Tigana come in. I then went to Reading with Tommy Burns. You know, some of the managers that I've been with. Tommy Burns was, you know, legendary in Scotland. Definitely. I'm so honoured and lucky. He then obviously got the sack. Alan Pardew then takes over. He brings in Johnny Gorman. We had Glenn Oddle helping with coaching as well. And you're like, I'm in Dreamworld. These were all my heroes. Kevin Keegan was who I wanted to be. Yeah, he was a Liverpool and England captain when I was a kid, and that's who I wanted to be. All of a sudden, he's my manager. Glenn Oddle, you know, legendary player. He's one of my coaches. And you're just going for, and you're just like, oh, you know, you suddenly when you take a step back, you go, how lucky am I? I've had Terry Venables, I've had Glenn Oddle, I've had, you know, Tony Pulis, I've had Alan Pardew, all established managers now in the league and top leagues. Reality in football, I'm nowhere near the top boys, nowhere near. But I've had the best. I was
going to say, you had a decent enough run at your
side. And I do, and I'll reiterate it. Gillingham give me that grounding. One, you've gone from luxury to grafting, and knowing what it's like to nearly go out of the league, nearly to have a club go out of its, you know,
existence,
existence and going to the wall. To then going back to somewhere like Fulham, where, you know, you got Richard Grant watching you, and you got Keith Allen watching you, and you got Lily Allen watching you, and you just see what I'm saying, and you going.
Yeah, there's levels. I mean, I like Gills, but yeah,
exactly. You know, you got the Rainer, and then you got, you know, the Cottage on the Thames, and then you go into nightclubs, and they're moving people out the way to get you in the VIP bit, and they go, oh, these 4 guys or 5 guys, can you move out the way? You know, some of the Fulham boys have come in for a drink with their girlfriends and wives, and it was Westlife. It moved Westlife for us. I'm a no one. I'm just on coattails. I'm just being dragged along. I enjoyed every minute. And then you go to Reading. You got a 25,000 all-seater stadium.
Everybody's just been built, hadn't it? Then that had only been open a few years.
Exactly, and everybody wants to beat you because it's like the Wembley of that division. So it was a tough one that season. We lost out in the playoff final the following season and got promotion the next season. So, you know, it was just consistently hard all through, but I've loved every minute of it. And as I say, the person I have to thank for all of this is Tony and Paul. Paul Scally turning the club round into something that was beyond where anybody thought Gillingham would be. You know, like you say, those 8 years afterwards, amazing. And Tony Pulis, because he put the foundation down and he turned my career around. He turned my career around 100%.
Brilliant. Smudge, I'm going to let you go. I've really enjoyed it. It's been nearly an hour we've been chatting. It's been brilliant.
Wow. I can't talk, by the way. I told you could have all the questions in the world.
No, I've really enjoyed it. I only put them here as a guideline. I much prefer it. We just start freestyling it. It's absolutely superb.
Listen, I love it, and I do, and I've still got good friends down in Gillingham. I've got Scally I still speak to a lot, and not Bromley. We try to get a Gillingham pre-season friendly all the time because of that connection. And I think, to be fair to Steve Evans, I think he's been amazing this season.
He's done really well, yeah. Like you say, this break come at the wrong time for us as well. It was probably an outside chance, but we was having a little go at the playoffs.
No, I know. Listen, I keep an eye on the Gills as just because of that reason. But I think Steve Evans has come around and just he's give it that Tony Pulis foundation to work from.
That's it. He's made us hard to beat.
Hard work
gives us half a chance all the time.
Absolutely, 100%. And I do generally wish everybody well at Gillingham. I hope everyone's safe and well, and hopefully we can get through this, and hopefully we can get the Gills back down at Bromley for that friendly. Just so that way we know everything's back to normal.
Smudge, it's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, mate. God bless.
Gills fans, as always, you know where we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. You can comment down below. Get in touch with Smudgies on Twitter. As he's just said, keep staying safe, keep following the guidelines. And until next time, up the Gills.